Hi guys, welcome to my video, and in this video we are going to talk about the cell cycle and the cell division. Cell division is a very important process in all living organisms. During the division of a cell, DNA replication and cell growth also takes place. All these processes, an example, cell division, DNA replication, and cell growth, hence, have to take place in coordinated way to ensure correct division and formation of progeny cells containing intact genomes. The sequence of events by which a cell duplicates its genome, synthesizes the other constituents of the cell, and eventually divides into two daughter cells is termed cell cycle. These cells divide once in approximately every 24 hours. However, this duration of cell cycle can vary from organisms to organisms and also from cell type to cell type. Yeast, for example, can progress through the cell cycle in only about 90 minutes. The cell cycle is divided into two basic phases. First is the interphase. The second one is the M phase or the mitosis phase. The M phase represents the phase when the actual cell division or mitosis occurs, and the interphase represents the phase between two successive M phases. Later we will discuss a much further discussion about these two phases. It is significant to note that in the 24-hour average duration of cell cycle of a human cell, cell division proper lasts for only about an hour. The interphase lasts more than 95% of the duration of the cell cycle. So generally, mitosis is a form of eukaryotic cell division that produces two daughter cells with the same genetic component as the parent material cell. Chromosomes replicated during the S phase or the synthesis phase are divided in such a way as to ensure that each daughter cell receives a copy of every chromosome. In actively dividing animal cells, the whole process takes about 1 hour. So please take a look on the whole process of the cell cycle. In G1 phase, metabolic changes prepare the cell for division. At a certain point, the restriction point, the cell is committed to division and moves into the S phase. In other words, the G phase is the phase where cells continue to grow and getting bigger, like human. They continue to mature as time passed by. The cells getting bigger and bigger, preparing to be an adult cells. Now, here in S phase, DNA synthesis replicates the genetic material. Each chromosome now consists of two sister chromatids. It means it duplicating the DNA properties from the parent cell. In G2 phase, metabolic changes assemble the cytoplasmic materials necessary for mitosis and cytokinesis. In G2 phases, it continues growing and gets ready for the actual division of the cell. Interphase, DNA is copied and centrosomes replicate. All these phases are just in the interphase. So most of the life cycle, note that most of the life cycle of the cell happens in the interphase here. But there are some cells that are special that undergoes the go phase or the G0 phase. They are the cells that don't replicate or divides and never copy themselves during their lifetime. So M phase. A nuclear division, mitosis, followed by a cell division, cytokinesis. The period between mitotic division, that is G1, S, and G2 is known as interphase. So, look at the picture and video on the screen on how the progress of a cell continue as from being new cells to immature cells. So, in mitosis, although a continuous process is conventionally divided into 5 stages, namely prophase, prometaphase, and metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Both these processes lead to a cytokinesis or a proper cell division. So first, in the prophase, the best highlight in the prophase is DNA is started to condense and mitotic spindle forms. In prometaphase, nuclear envelope fragments breaking that apart and microtubules started to attach to kinetochore or the center of the chromosomes. And in the metaphase, chromosomes are all lined up in the middle. And followed by anaphase, chromatids separate, so we're getting equal amounts of daughter cells. So just follow in the video. In telophase and cytokinesis, cell elongation, cleavage, furrow, and daughter cell nuclei form. So we have a new cell species. Cytokinesis is the final cellular division to form 2 new cells, followed by meiosis. Meiosis 1 is a reduction division. The original diploid cell had 2 copies of each chromosomes. The newly formed haploid cells have 1 copy of each chromosomes. Meiosis is the form of eukaryotic cell division that produces haploid sex cells or gametes. Remember, meiosis is a form of eukaryotic cell division that produces haploid sex cells or gametes, which contain a single copy of each chromosome, different from mitosis. So, meiosis is a process which contains a single copy of each chromosomes from diploid cells, which contain 2 copies of each chromosomes. The process takes the form of 1 DNA replication followed by 2 successive nuclear and cellular division, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. As in mitosis, meiosis is preceded by a process of DNA replication that converts each chromosomes into 2 sister chromatids. So, in meiosis, we have 2n is equals to 4. So, it means that we have 2 chromosomes from the father and mother, and they'll copy themselves. The difference between meiosis and mitosis is the crossing over. So please take a closer look, because this is the most important part of the meiosis that makes it different from mitosis. So in meiosis, they'll copy themselves. The difference between meiosis and mitosis is the crossing over. Therefore, the swap over will occur that causes this part of chromosome will swap to the other. And the next stage is they will divide in half, that result in 2 n cells, and in further cycle we will have n cells equals to 2. In male, these 2 will become a sperm, and the female we will have egg cells. So that's why when the egg cells meets the sperm cells, they form a zygote, and it means that we have 2n is equals n, and form diploid cells that have cells that make cells and that will make sex cells in the near future. So in meiosis, we are making haploid itself. It means so in meiosis we are making haploid. It means half. We are producing a sex cells, which are the single copy of each chromosomes from the diploid cells. This process will continue over and over and over again. So I hope you've learned something. Safe. God bless.